I got yelled at daily, screamed at, told that I wasn't really trying to get the expansion done, but there wasn't anybody who came and did like a mission that was directed exactly at me. But
Okay.
I got threatened with ethics measures and conditions where I would be like in treason or enemy if I didn't get these targets done. But nothing where I was like gonna be hugely in trouble. It was more pressure like that.
Okay. All right. So more verbal abuse than anything else.
Quite a bit of verbal abuse.
Okay. How did you move from off the flag rep bookstore thing, and what happened, and what did you get off to?
Another mission.
Okay. Some Sea Org mission came in.
Yeah.
And what did they do?
Well, they came in and they took 2 terminals, 2 people, 2 staff, and said, "You're going to the International Training Organization, the ED." And I don't remember what the other post was. I think it was a technical post. I can't remember.
So they literally walked in and took the head of the organization and said, "You're going."
Yeah, and another high-level executive. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been the organizational executive secretary over divisions 3, 4, and 5.
Right. Okay. So one of the key, you could say, analogous to like one of the key board members or something.
Yeah, it was a couple of big people. But that person returned right away, but the ED did not. She stayed.
Okay, and by right away you mean?
Within months, that person was back. The
Okay.
ED stayed. So there was no ED. It was like being held. I don't even know who was holding it. I didn't have attention on that. I can't even remember who held it.
So there was just...
Like it was only for maybe a few weeks. There was
Okay.
nobody. It was
There was
sort
just
of
nobody
like
running the whole organization.
pretty much for about 2 weeks.
Wow. And then what happened?
They called me on the telephone.
Okay.
This is when I was introduced to what's called a programs chief. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Okay.
And they said, "Hey, we see from your statistics that you did really well in the bookstore," and I did, and I really did. I wanted the end result. I wanted that auditing. So you have to produce to get it. And then I did well. I actually got more program steps done than anybody had ever else gotten done. So I'm like the best candidate. They go, "How would you like to be the temporary ED for 3 to 6 months while your ED finishes her training? She should be back in 3, maybe 4 months, 6 at the most." I said, "All I got to do is sit at their desk and basically do, kind of the same thing. And yeah, you have to be what's called the product officer. You have to go around, make sure everybody does their stuff, but it's kind of the same thing as being a flag rep. You already have talked to the ED. You know kind of what that person does. How about you do that for 6 months?"
And this is all a phone call.
Phone call.
The mission had already come and gone.
Mission had already come, removed the people, left. Didn't really have... They had some kind of temporary person in there, and they lasted like a few days, and then there was really nobody there for I think 8 days. There really was no director, no nothing. And then I get a phone call.
When was this? About what year are we talking about now?
Let's see. I left staff in 82, so this would have... I'm sorry, 92, so this would have been about 86, 87, around 86, 87.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 88.
That sounds better. Okay,
Yeah,
88.
sorry. It's a jumble of dates.
I know,
I'm sorry,
I was just kind of curious where we were at time frame.
I'm sorry, because it was 84, and then it was about 4 years in.
Yeah.
It's about 88. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is about 1988
Yeah.
that this is happening.
Yeah.
And so they make you the executive director of Tampa by a phone call.
Yeah, Joyce,
Joyce?
my programs chief.
Okay, so this woman named Joyce.
She calls me.
Okay, and she is your programs chief. Now, at a management organization, Sea Org, right? Joyce is a Sea Org member.
Mm-hmm.
The programs chief is the person who's ostensibly supposed to be seeing that the programs are getting done.
Yes.
But what they actually do is call you on the phone and harass you about your statistics.
Yes.
And where are things at, and run you because they're not good enough yet. This was my experience with being a programs chief and with watching programs chiefs and interacting with them when I was a staff member. Because this is 1988 now that we're talking about, And I was now a staff member in Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah.
And we got phone calls every day from the programs chief.
I'm sure it came from way up all the way down to the individual
Yeah, well, I was
organizations.
over in West US, right?
Yeah.
But it was the same kind of drill that was
Yep.
being done, right? So you're getting, you're on the East US, I'm over on the West US, but the experience is very similar. I mean, everything you've said, minus the dog food, I experienced.
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So now, okay, so you get this phone call, you become the executive director, and basically what happens to your life?
I'm pretty much told right away that I need to dump my job.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, there's no damn way. Because at this point, I'm like, I have a pretty steady girlfriend, or if I'm married, I can't exactly remember all of the dates, but I'm like, yeah, I wasn't married yet. I'm like, but you have to be responsible for the organization. How it came about was, shortly after I became the temporary ED, this girl shows up out of the blue. Don't even know who the hell it is. She's from the Commodore's messenger work.
Oh, okay.
Way up in like nosebleed territory. Shit I'm not even really familiar with.
Yeah.
And she comes in, she goes to the LRH office. You're supposed to have an office for him in case he returns, and it has to be immaculate, can't have any dust, and there's dust. I guess she's some kind of person who checks for dust in LRH's office because he's dead, but he's going to come back and do something. I don't really know. I didn't really give a shit. I was busy.
This is 2 years after Hubbard died.
Yeah.
Right.
I was pretty busy.
Yeah.
So she comes in, and she gives me all this crap about not being respectful and how the LRH office is dirty and how I have a job. And she tells me immediately that I have to quit my job and that my folders are going to be taken to flag, or there's going to be some kind of reprimand because I'm not booming my org. And I'm like, I've been on this post like 4 months, maybe 2 months. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm the temporary person.
Right.
So I didn't really respect her very well. She storms out making all these threats that I'm going to be, removed, and I'm like thinking, yeah, okay, whatever, bitch, see ya. And sent her packing.
Yeah.
So, and then shortly after that, then I get my first trip to New York.
Right.
Not as a result of her, but possibly, who knows?
I'm quite sure she had something to do with it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So I get sent to New York to find out what an ED is supposed to be, because I guess I was really like, I had a clipboard, I was responsible for these particular statistics throughout these divisions, and that's what I did. I just went around and chewed everybody's ass until they did what I told them to do.
Wow. And about how many staff were there in Tampa at this point under you?
Christ, maybe 17, 18 at the most.
Okay. And so you pretty much figured that your job was to
Chew their ass.
chew their asses, go around and
I was vicious.
dish out abuse on them.
I was given a sort of a crash course, and I'll get into that. It's a separate question, but when I first started, I just went around like a drill sergeant and just chewed everybody's ass because I was getting my ass chewed, so I just brought it through.
I was going to ask about that. Is that kind of why you had that idea?
From day one, I got my ass chewed.
Okay.
There
by
wasn't
Joyce,
anybody.
The program's chief?
Joyce, the CO, anybody who would get on the phone with me would chew my ass because, the organization was in shambles. The ED was gone. I'm the new ED. Statistics across every division were in horrible shape. There wasn't anything working properly. There wasn't anybody really running the organization, and that's why they had dragged her out and sent her to the international training organization so she could become a better ED.
Right.
So they put me in there like as a pit bull because I guess somebody had sent up the lines, the whole, he's a dick and he'll get people to do things.